Hi everyone, and welcome to my presentation. Today I'll be discussing a key theories and concepts we explored throughout the module and integrating feedbacks and lessons I have learned from my previous assignments. This discussion will be divided into four main points. Firstly, I'll explain how the concept of self is constructed using symbolic interracialism and how it's related to my own social media use. Next, I'll explore the five core principles of communication of private management theory and apply them to the real life case study. Then I'll analyze how social media affects individual comparison level using social exchange theory and responses I allow responses from the two of my friends. Lastly, I'll examine the five assumptions of users classification theory in the light of the latest social media statistic in South Africa from Criterion Millennials 2025 report. In last, I will end with a brief conclusion summarizing the key insights from each section. Question 1. Symbolic interracialism and personal social media use. Symbolic interracialism argues that the self is shaped by social interaction and it's interpreted symbols like language, likes, and emojis. According to a symbolic interracialism, our identity is developed throughout interactions with others and the meaning we assign to those interactions. On a social media, for instance, I tend to present a more accurate vision of myself. When I receive likes or positive comments, I internalize those reactions as approval or reinforce of the sense of myself. For example, when I posted about volunteering last year, the supportive response shape how I see myself as a social responsible and a caring person. Welcome to 1.2. A criteria using the social theory environment criteria. It consists of the five criteria of evaluations, of which it's a scope, testability, heuristics, parsimony, and utility. Okay, let me explain this through these five criteria. While a symbolic interracialism is useful for understanding identity formation in interactive settings like social media, it lacks stability due to its abstract concepts. It has a strong heuristics, it leads to a new idea, but its scope is limited to micro-level interaction and does not fully address systemic or structural influences. It has a symbolic makes it easy to understand, but perhaps to simplicity to account to a deeper identity complexity. Okay, question 2, of which is a communication private management theory question. The theory summary will be based on its following concepts, of which is the ownership, control, rules, co-ownership, boundary turbulence. According to the case study of Taiti and Kids vs. Monetti. According to the communication private management theory individuals, this sees private information as something they own. They decide who to share it with and under what rules. In the Taiti and Kick V.S. Monet case study, they fail to respect those privacy boundaries, of which it leads to a boundary turbulent public fallout when Monet shared a private screenshot with a constant. It violated co-ownership and control principles, leading to interpersonal conflicts and public embarrassment. Question 3. A social exchange theory in comparison levels. Comparison levels refer to a person's standards or expectation for a relationship based on a past experience and observed norms. I have interviewed two of my friends, and here's the answers they responded. One of my friends said she influenced by an influencer's perfect relationship. Second one feels pressure when seeing friends getting expensive gifts and frequently date nights. The site suggests that individually evaluate a relationship based on expected outcomes called comparison levels. Social media sets unrealistic standards often idealized. My friend both admitted that the comparison level were influenced by what they see online. This supports the idea that a constant exposure to idealized content raises expectation, making them feel dissatisfied even in their healthy relationship. Question 4. Uses a gratification theory and mailingness reports, of which we will be looking from this. Audience is active. Media use in a goal-directed. People are aware of their needs. Media competes with the other source of satisfaction. Users select media based on individual needs. Meldes 2025 reports the Melness efforts supports you use stratification theory in several ways. Firstly, the rise in a short form video use reflects users' active choice for quick entertainment. The data showing increased use of mental wellness constant align with the idea that the media competes with the traditional self-help. The assumption that people know that they need is challenged. However, by the report note that many users consume content passively, suggesting some media use may not be fully good directed. I think I've covered everything. Now let's come to a conclusion. In the conclusion, I think this presentation explored how identity is shaped through a symbolic interracialism, the risks of not managing private information on a social media, on our comparison levels in a relationship, and the extent to which South Africa social media trends align with the uses and classification theory. These insights remind us of the powerful role communication and media plays in shaping our identity, expectation, and behavior. Thank you.